Good morning, beautiful people of the world. Good morning. It's hump day. Woo, it's hump day, y'all. How y'all doing this morning? My little tire light is blinking. I know it has gotten cold, and I'm sure it's blinking like this because, you know, when it get cold, the tire pressure in your car will go down. So, probably gonna have to get some air put in the tire. But anywho, you all, how y'all doing this morning? I hope all is well. I hope all is well. I hope God has been good to you and good for you. I'm sure He is and has been. Amen. Somebody, amen. Well, I called myself leaving at 5:30. And I woke up early and still couldn't get out of here. It's gonna be really cold tomorrow. Tomorrow I may have on my snowsuit, my snow pants, I should say. Yeah, tomorrow I'll probably have on snow pants because it's gonna be really cold tomorrow. People say, why you put them on? You don't generally go outside. I say, yeah, but I don't. It's supposed to be really, really cold. I don't like freezing. I don't. I tried to get Christopher to wear, long johns of some sort. But, he won't do it. It's wintertime now, and it's like you got to get up earlier than you do in the summer because you got to put on more shit, more clothes you got to put on. And it's just like, who in the hell got time to be putting on all these clothes? Well, this is one of the things that I cannot stand about winter. You just have to put on too many clothes, too many. And it just becomes a chore, a job, trying to put on all this stuff. But, when you got to put it on, you got to get it on. So, I'm not too happy about putting on a lot of clothes. But what choice do you have, What choice do you have? It is what it is, as they say. It's just more clothing to put on. Winter is just not one of my favorite. It's just not one of my favorite seasons to me. It's just not. I don't like it at all. And tomorrow is going to be really, really cold, and Friday, freezing. So, may have a snowsuit on tomorrow. Might not wear it Friday, but and another thing too, it's real windy. It's like 26 degrees, but the wind, oh my God, the wind. The wind is off the chain. I don't know what the weekend temperature gonna be, but I'll probably be in the house. I probably ain't gonna do too much Saturday. Might do a little bit, go to the stores, do some Christmas shopping, maybe. But I don't know. I ain't down with the cold. I just don't like being out in the cold, getting in and out the car. Even when it's real, real hot, I don't like getting in and out the car when it's that temperature. I just don't like it. So, they're having a Christmas party, citywide Christmas party Saturday, and they trying to get me to come. No. The party starts at 8 o'clock in the at 8 o'clock in the evening. If it ain't 4 o'clock and I can be home by 10:30 or 11 or by midnight, but it started 8, I mean, you ain't gonna get home. The party ain't gonna get to jumping to about 9, 10. People gonna be up in there to 2, 3 in the morning. I'm past that, y'all. I don't have to do that no more. You know what I'm saying? I just don't. I'm gonna tell you all something else too. The party is in a neighborhood that is not. It's not in a. It's kind of like on the low end, but it's down in an area where it's like the South Loop area of Chicago. They never know where to park down there. And I'm not for walking 2 and 3, 4, 5 blocks to go listen to some music and laugh. I know people probably say, "Oh, you such a stooge. You so old." I am. I'm both. I'm both. But my thing is that for me, this is just me. You know, I've gotten to the point in my life that, you know, I can be home. I can be home. I can be watching TV, enjoying myself. You know, I'm just saying. I think I'm gonna go back and get that Doing Birth Purse Friday. I think I am. Yeah, I think I am. If it's still there. I don't know what color to get. I have a couple of red purses. I might have a dark blue purse. I don't know if I have a dark blue purse like that one. That purse was so pretty to me. Y'all didn't watch that video. Watch that video. It's beautiful purses. I like that purse. Anyway, just thinking out loud. But I've just got to the point in my life, and I guess this is the real truth for me. If I'm not with a guy, you know, out on a date or whatever, you know, I have no need to be out to 2 and 3 in the morning no more. I don't have no need for that. And the other thing I was gonna say is that I still like to listen to music. I still like to go out and enjoy myself. But I just don't really want to go and do it with a whole bunch of people. I don't know if that makes sense or not. I don't know if I'm making sense. But I guess my point is that I'm okay. I'm okay with being at home. You understand what I'm saying? I'm okay with that. I remember my girlfriend at work told me this, and it's so true. She said, "Wait till you get your house." She said, "You ain't gonna want to go. You ain't gonna want to be hanging out in these streets like that." She said, "Of course you'll go, you know, different places or whatever." She said, "But, she said, wait." She said, "I'm telling you," and that's why I bought a house and bought the house that I wanted, the house that I wanted to be comfortable in, the house that I wanted to enjoy myself and relax. You know what I'm saying? That's why I did what I did. I really want my friend to build me a deck or a gazebo. I really, really do. I'm hoping that he can do that next summer. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna see, you know, how much it will cost to get that done. I want to have everything I want to have right there at my house. You know, I want to give me a barbecue grill so I can barbecue in the summer. I want to have everything I need right at home. And I don't get me wrong, I still like going to the movies. I still like going out to eat. I like going to nice places. I still like to travel. I still like to do all of that. I'm not a homebody like that. It's just that I don't want to hang out to 2, 3 in the morning. I I'm just over that. I'm just past that. You know, the party started at 10 o'clock. There used to be a time where I would go to a party at 10:30, get there at 10:30, 11 o'clock. We party to 2, 3, 4 in the morning, you know. But I ain't with that. I ain't with that. Let me tell y'all about y'all favorite nephew, Christopher. So yesterday, picked him up from school, as you all saw, those of you that were here on the live. And he was in some type of mood. I don't know. I got off the live so that I could talk to him. So we did talk. So then on the way home from my mother's house, he wasn't talking. So I said, what's going on with you? And I said, why are you so quiet? Nothing. Now I told y'all how I roll. I don't care if you mama, sister, brother, husband, boyfriend, child, best friend. I'm not finna keep asking you what the fuck is wrong with you. When I ask you once or twice and you give me those type of answers, hey, you understand what I'm saying? So I said, okay. I said, what, is something going on with you that, you know, you upset about something? What's going on? No. I ain't upset about nothing. All right, so we get home. We're going into the house. And, you know, he still ain't really saying nothing. So I went to go and put my lights out on my porch. You know, the colored lights that I did, the Temu lights. Y'all haven't looked at that video. Go look at that video. So I said, well, I want to go out here and I want to put my lights out on my porch. I said, I just need you to hold the door because I had them all in my hand. I had turned them on. So he comes to the door. He's still looking funny, acting funny. I said, what is wrong with you? I just don't feel like talking. I just don't feel like talking. I just don't feel like talking right now. I just don't feel like talking. I said, oh, okay. And so I said, you are moody as hell. I said, I feel sorry for the girl that gets with you. I said, because one thing I wouldn't do, I wouldn't put up with that bullshit. I said, that's exactly why me and so-and-so ain't talking. I said, because I don't deal with moody motherfuckers. That's just how I said it. So he just kind of like looked at me. And he didn't say nothing. So he stood at the door while I put the lights down on the porch. So I was done. He said, you done? I said, yep. So I closed the door and locked the door and went back to the bedroom to go on live with you all. And so I'm on live talking to you all, and here he comes talking about I was coming to give you a hug. I said, I'm on live. So he was like, oh, okay. And I was like, yeah. I said, wait till I get off. Wait till I get off live. And it wasn't that I didn't want to hug him, but here's the thing. When I tried to talk to you and I was, you know, asking you what was wrong and trying to have dialogue with you, you told me you didn't feel like talking. You blew me off. Not once, not twice, but about 3 or 4 times. So, hey, you know, you in one of your moods, and I'm telling you, my father was the same way. The same way. You talking about moody. That was one of the things that my mother could not stand about my father. In fact, that was one of the things I couldn't stand about him. Extremely moody. Which made me believe later in life, because I did not know and was not educated, I think my father suffered from some type of depression. I'm not sure if he was bipolar, but I think he suffered from some type of depression. My father was a beer drinker. You know, and beer, like anything else, it's like alcohol, you know. And it's got a lot of sodium in it. And People think because they drink beer that they're not an alcoholic. Well, I only drink beer. Beer has alcohol in it, and you can be an alcoholic from beer. It don't have to be just hard liquor. But he was very moody. My father was extremely moody. My mother used to always call him Evil Knievel. Remember Evil Knievel from the cartoon character? That's what she used to call him. And she called him that for years. But he was just so moody. He was so just moody. If he was in a good mood, you would have a good time with him. If he was in a not so good mood, he could make your life. Get over. Why are you all the way over here? What's wrong with you? You don't know how to. You didn't learn how to color in the line as a kid. People get on my motherfucking nerves. I'm sorry, y'all. He all the way over here. If you wanted to get over here, just put on a fucking blinker. I would have let you over. Don't run me off the goddamn road. Anyway, so he could be very moody, and Christopher is moody. And then my nephew came over to my mother's house yesterday, and we were saying something to him about his girlfriend. Same thing. He was very evasive too. When he left, my mother was like, "He didn't seem very excited about us when we were talking about her." I said it must be a male thing. I said it's got to be. And she was like, "What kind of?" I said, "Girl," I said, "all of them." And my girlfriend said the same thing about her son. I said, "They all are fucking strange. They strange. They strange. They just are. They are strange. They just strange." And you just be like, I don't know why this dude. Can't drive, I can tell you that much. They just strange. So I told my mother, I said, it's gotta be a male thing. I said, it's gotta be. She said, yeah. She said, he didn't seem really excited when we talked about her. I said, it's them. I said, that's how they are. I said, that's how they are. And my nephew he's always been very quiet. And I don't know. It's like they get to be a certain age and they not fun no more. They just is dry. They don't know how to laugh no more. They so serious. Everything is so serious. I'm like, God damn, lighten up. I don't know what be going through these young people, man. I don't know. I just don't know. But they just dry. My mother was so funny. Over. You see me with my blinker on. But just dry. And he was talking to us and everything, but when we was talking about his girlfriend, he just acted like, And they leave tomorrow for Vegas. I think he said he going to Vegas Thursday, Friday. He'll be back Sunday. But she had already told us when she came for Thanksgiving that they were going to Vegas. And so, I don't know. But anyway, so he comes and he now he wants to hug, No, you don't talk to me when you want to talk to me. That ain't how that works. I'm busy. So when I get off the live, he comes in my room and he says, I'm sorry, I know you were on live, and I didn't mean to interrupt. I said, yeah, that was very rude. I said, because you knew what I was doing, and you knew that I was talking to people, and I said, and you could have waited. I said, everything is always about you. I said, you don't care about hurting nobody else's feelings. You don't care about hurting nobody else's feelings because it's all about you. And I said, you don't get to pick and choose when you want to be bothered with me. I said, that's not how that works. I said, but if that's how you want it to be, I said, then I don't have a problem treating you the same way. Pace bus, you could have gone. You really could have went on. Ain't nothing comment. You could have been and went. I'm trying to tell you. Go on and turn the corner. Oh my God. Ain't nothing coming. He just sitting here at the light. I hate being around these damn pace things. They are the worst drivers. Everybody blowing. Anyway, can't make it move, can't go around them, so he could have been and went a long time ago. Now the lighting changed, now he really ain't gonna go. You can turn now. Can you turn, please? I tell you, I can't stand being behind these motherfuckers. Excuse my French. These pace buses are the worst. Please, yeah, get your ass over. No driving ass. She could have been made that turn, but they be so scared to do anything. Do y'all have pace buses where you all live? I hate to be behind them. My coworker said that they got the right name, Pace, because they pace along. Anywho, so he says to me, he says, I said, now if that's how you want it to be, if that's how you want me to treat you like you treat me, I said, I can do that. I said, you ain't gonna like it. I said, but I can do it though. No, I just didn't feel like talking at the time. I said, but now you feel like coming to give me a hug when I'm talking. Well, I figured that I may have upset you when I said what I said and how I said it. So I was coming to give you a hug. I said, but you also knew that I was on live, so you could have waited until I got off. And then I told him, so then he says to me, I feel like, you pay more attention to being on live than me. I said, Christopher, I said, you know what I do. You know I'm a content creator. You know that I'm on YouTube. You know that I do all kinds of things on YouTube. And yes, I do go live on YouTube. I said, but when you're benefiting from the money, getting your hair cut, buying you things that you want off of Amazon, I said, you ain't got a problem with me going live then. I said, and here's the thing. I said, I pay you a lot of attention. I said, a lot of attention. I said, but when you on the phone, I said, you on the phone every day. You on a FaceTime video with your friends. I said, you be on there with them. He said, I don't talk to them every day. I said, you talk to them 2 and 3 times a day. You all be on the phone. You all be talking. I said, do I bother you? So I don't bother you. I don't ask you who you talking to because it's always the same group of people, same group of kids. I said, I don't bother you. I don't bother you. I said, but now you gonna come in here with this BS talking about I pay more attention to the live than I pay attention to you. I said, Christopher, go on with that. right back. I'm gonna go punch in now. Oh, it's snowing. I was wondering, I'm like, wow. I drove up, I'm like, what is it doing out here? It's snowing. Wow. I ain't hear that on the weather report. But it is snowing. Snowing. And I said, so, I said, when you on the phone with your friends and you talking to your friends or doing whatever it is that you're doing with your friends, I said, I don't bother you. I don't bother you. I may say, Chris, can you come do this or do that? I said, but for the most part, you be talking and having a good time, and I don't say nothing. I said, but then you want to, come at me, He was like, no, he was like, I just feel like you be on there all the time. I said, well, you don't say that when I'm at work. So what's the difference? I said, you get plenty of attention from me. I said, I'm with you all the time. All the time. And I said, I know how to balance things out. And I said, but YouTube is a huge part of my life now. I said, and it has been for the last 4 years almost. And I said, I'm not on YouTube just to be on YouTube. I'm on YouTube because I'm trying to make some money. And I said, and when you standing in my face asking me for a sweatshirt that costs $40, when you standing in my face asking me for these kind of gym shoes and those kind of gym shoes and this and that and the third, you know what I mean? So, no. I said, you constantly want this, that, and the other. I said, Chris, how you think you're going to get it? You think it's going to fall from the sky? It's just going to randomly fall from the sky? I said, I got to get up and get it. I said, you at that age now where pretty soon you're going to have a job and you're going to want to go to that job because you're going to like the money you get. I said, Chris, do you know I want to stay home every day? I said, do you know how badly I want to retire? Do you know how badly I want to have enough money where I don't have to work, go and I can be free to make content throughout the day, go shopping, do what I want to do? I said, but I'm an adult. I have to be responsible. I have bills to pay. You know what I'm saying? I got bills to pay. So he was like, I get it. I understand. I get it. I said, do you really? I said, do you really? I said, so when I'm on OnlyFans or I'm on, so I just broke it down to him. I said, first of all, I have to Uber you every day. I said, that's $23 a day. Okay. I know this is going to sound really bad. I do not tip the Uber drivers. For one, they're not taking him that far. I cannot afford to pay $23 or $24 a day and tip the person too. Now, I have tipped, like I tipped the girl who I got the keys back from. I tipped the guy who I got his ID back from. But Uber still charged me $20 for her reporting the keys, and I gave her a tip. I had to drive to her house to get the keys. I gave her a tip, and then Uber charged me $20 because she reported the keys as lost, and to get the item back, it was $20. I said, all of that shit adds up. Whether you believe it or not, but it does. And so I told him, I said, so when you standing here talking about, so I showed him how much I made for the month of November on YouTube. He was like, oh, okay. I said, yeah. I said, I made $464 and some change for the month of November. I said, so when I get that money, I said, that money helps do for whatever, you know. And I said, Chris, I said, I have a lot of bills. I said, you know this. You know this. I have a lot of bills. I cannot believe it's snowing out here. In the wintertime especially, I don't want to get up and come up in here. You know, I don't. And you know, and I was just trying to give him some, you know, just trying to give him some truths about how life is, you know, and the things that we go through as adults. It's not easy. It's just not. It's not easy. You know, you got to be responsible every day. You got to pay this bill and you got to pay that bill. You know, I'm looking at my gas bill. My gas bill is $286. The light bill is $174. Then I have to pay the water bill. Last month that bill was like $46 because I'm on a budget. The cable, the home security, the mortgage, you know, and still trying to maintain. And I don't buy a lot of clothes like I used to because I can't afford to shop like that. So I go into places like Ross, Burlington, and I find me a pair of pants to wear to work or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I have a lot of clothes. So if I got somewhere to go, somewhere special to go, I can, like I had on that black dress, I can find something to put on. So that's not an issue. You know, I bought those things from Shein. You know, I bought those. I think the next payment is coming up pretty soon. But I put things on Easy Pay. You know, like I go through PayPal and I put it where I can pay it over time. I'll do that. I don't even do that often. You know, I don't even do that unless it's something that I really want. And I'll do that. But, you know, it's just, I just, you know, just try to get him to understand, like, you know, when you talk about, I pay more attention to the live, that ain't true. That ain't true. I said, first of all, in the evening time, I said, you ain't even, you be on your phone talking to your friends. So you on your phone talking to your friends. I'm in here on the live, or I might be on the phone with one of my friends. I said, you know, it's not all about you. I know you want it to be all about you, but it's not. So he was like, you know, and I said, but if you feel that way, I said, you know what? I said, I'm only one person. I can't do everything. You know, I said, you want this, you want that, you want this, you want that, you want this, you want that, right? I said, you want all of this. You want your hair cut every 2 weeks. I said, who you think getting your hair cut every 2 weeks? When I tell y'all, if and when he gets a job, that will be such a help to me, because he can get his hair done, get his hair cut, not get his hair done, get his hair cut. Let me tell you, Christopher is addicted to white t-shirts. Every time we go into Burlington, TJ Maxx, or Ross, especially TJ Maxx, he come with a pack of white t-shirts. I'm like, I just bought you some white t-shirt. He got a pile of white t-shirts. A pile of them. Pile of them. Why do you need so many white t-shirts? I said, here you come. And those white t-shirts, he always find the ones that's the cheapest ones. They're like $9.99, and they like come in a box of like 6. But add that up every time you go in the store and somebody in your face talking about, can you give me some t-shirts? Can you give me some white t-shirts? The wife beaters, you know, the tank tops or whatever. He loved white t-shirts. And yeah, we threw away a lot of them that were dingy and, you know, had the, you know how they turn yellow, how white clothes that turn yellow. I'm just like, okay. So I told him, I said, you know, I understand you want this and you want that and you want this and you want that. I said, I get it. I said, so do I. You know, so, you know, trying to support him, not support him, but, you know, he's still a kid, and, you know, he don't have a job, you know. And I told him, I said, Christopher, I said, most mothers at your age will be telling you, you got to get a job. You got to go work in a fast food restaurant. I said, you could be coming home at 10, 11 o'clock at night, walking up in here. You know, and I said, so what I'm saying to you is that I don't have no time. I said, I spend a lot of time with you. I'm with you all the time, you know. And I said, and we talk all the time. I said, you show me all these funny videos. I said, we've done TikToks together. I said, but when you get in a mood, when you don't want to be bothered with me, then you want to tell me that you don't feel like talking to me. I said, just like your feelings get hurt, so do mine. When you come in and you tell me that I'm tearing you down, or your feelings, you know, I hurt your feelings, I say, you hurt mine too. You hurt mine when you disrespectful. You hurt mine when you say shit like, well, I just don't feel like talking. I said, so I leave you alone. And I go in my room and I do what I'm doing. I said, I put the lights out. You stood there at the door watching me put the lights out. I said, you didn't ask me or say to me, you know, you want me to come out there and help you. Not that I really needed you to help, because they were just the solar lights, them T-Moon lights. I said, I didn't need you to help me do that. I just wanted you to be there at the door, you know. I said, but, you know, it is what it is, you know. So I told him, I said, you know, I said, you can't pick and choose when you want to be bothered. That's just not how it go. You know, that's just not how it go. I don't know why he's so goddamn moody. I don't know. ain't trying to figure it out. And he is moody. But, you know, it's okay. It's okay if you want to be moody. But then don't come in there telling me some bullshit about I spend more time on the live than I do you. And I tried to talk to you and say, hey, what's going on? You know, how was school? Good. You know, everything is a one-word answer with him. I'll bring up different people, you know, like his friend. I'll say, so what you and you and Tracy and Lenard, you know, I bring up, he's very evasive. So you think I'm gonna keep talking to you, keep asking you stuff, and you don't want to be bothered, you don't want to talk? I'm not finna do that. I don't do that for nobody. I just don't. And he's not the only one, because I experienced this with men here at work. Same thing. It's a guy here at work. He was talking to me. The one that I told y'all I blocked because he wanted to come to my house. I don't know if something got back to him because I was talking about that and he mad, but he treats me real funny now. I don't give a shit. I don't owe nobody nothing. You ain't my man. So now when he see me, he used to hug me, talk to me. Now he act real funny. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. I'm not running up behind nobody and ask them what the fuck is wrong with them. You don't want to talk to me, you want to treat me funny, keep treating me like that. And like I said, this is exactly why me and that one guy ain't talking right now to this day. That's exactly why we not talking. Exactly why we not friends. Because I'm not doing it. You're not going to treat me fucked up. Especially when I know I ain't did nothing to you. You can hold a grudge as long as you want to hold one. You can be mad until Jesus come back. To the rapture. I don't care. And I told Christopher last night, I said, ain't no girl gonna want to put up with that. Ain't no girl gonna want to put up with your moodiness. He's talking about, I'm not moody. Okay. You say so. This sweatshirt, it gets so dirty so quick, so I don't wear it that often. I don't know what's going on with these eyelashes. I'll never buy these again. They don't, I don't know what's wrong with these. I don't like the band on these eyelashes. I'm gonna put this one back on. I don't like them. I shouldn't have bought these. And last night when we was on the live, I'm just amazed how, men get so in their feelings when you're trying to tell them something. I know truth hurts, but you know what? I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say it again. Any woman, this is going to be just the second part of my conversation with you all. Any woman who is easy, is an easy lay, is a woman that don't have no self-worth and no self-esteem. Okay? Because women who care about themselves and care about their bodies and care about their reputation and care about having morals and standards, that's not a woman who's going to make things easy for you. And if you are a man who want every woman to be easy, that says something about you as a man. You may not like what I said last night. You may not agree with what I said last night, but it's the truth. If you as a man, if you yourself don't have any standards or values as a man, you will keep getting low vibration type of women. There was two guys on there last night, Jeffrey and Paul. Jeffrey was 33, and he listened to what I was saying, and the advice that I gave Jeffrey, he said, I didn't think about it that way. I said, if every woman that you with or that you meet give you sex freely without you putting in the work, you need to go get tested. Because she's got something, or she gives that to everybody freely. See, you're not special to her. You're just another dick to ride and to fuck. That's all you are. So if you want, he said it's not that many to choose from. No, it's a lot to choose from. But the women that you want or that you dealing, the reason why it's not a lot to choose from is because women that are not low vibration are not gonna fuck with nobody like you. He on there talking about women need to pay for first dates. Out of order. Out of order. Ladies, any man that asks you or say to you to pay for the first date, that is a man you need to run like hell from. He is not looking to be your provider. He's not looking to be your covering. He's not looking to be anything but a lazy ass man for you to do all the work. See, I'm not going to fuck you and do all the work and put in the work. I'm not going to do that. Because if women would understand that the most valuable thing that you have as far as a man, as far as men, I'm not saying that your vagina is the only valuable thing about you, but as far as a man is concerned, because men like vagina, I'm not going to use the P word, but men like vagina. That's value to them because that's what they like. That's what they like. So if a man likes vagina, why would you give a man vagina and not make him work for the vagina? I know it sound kind of weird calling it the vagina, but my point is that When you deal with dudes like Paul and Jeffrey that are low vibration type of dudes, you're going to get low vibration type of energy. You're going to get low vibration type of responses. You're going to get low vibration type of treatment. You have to, your vagina is value to them. Not your personality, not how much money you make, not how well you can cook. A man don't, when a man on the surface that is interested in you, he's not thinking about those things. He's not thinking about those things right then and there. A man that is attracted to you, that's trying to get to know you, when he's attracted to you, he automatically thinks about, when she gonna give me some pussy? When is she gonna give this to me? So when men see you and they think you attractive and they think you pretty and they think you this and they think that, I'm not saying that they can't look at you and not fall head over heels in love with you, but men don't operate like that. They don't operate like that. They just don't. They just don't. I'm not saying every man that look at a woman is thinking about how I can jump her bones. But most of the men that are interested in women, when they see a woman or walk up to a woman, is interested in her because of how she looks, how she smells, how attractive she is. You know what I'm saying? So make a man work for you. Make a man work for you, because he will. He will. The only reason why men don't work for us is because we don't require them to. You don't have to tell a man what your standards are, or what your requirements are, or what your boundaries are. He will know that by the way in which you move with him. When he's not taking you out on dates, when he's not showing up for you, and then you disappear. See, I don't tell men, well, you know what, in order to be with me, you got to do this, you got to do that. I never say that to men. I just move the way in which I move, and then they know what type of woman I am. And either they're going to do what my requirements are, or they're going to go on to the next chick who going to make it easy for them. And I don't have a problem with you going to the next chick to make it easy for me, for you, because ultimately you've done me a favor. I dodged a bullet, because see, I don't deal with low vibration type of men. I don't deal with low vibration type of men. I don't deal with men who have no class and don't have no standards. I don't. Okay, not at the age that I'm at now. Have I? Yes, I have. But I don't operate like that. You have to be a man of standards to be with me. So you can't start talking up under my clothes and you ain't even took me out for a happy meal. I mean, you can't do 2 for $25 at Applebee's. You can't do nothing. Okay. Oh, eyelash, stop acting up. Sometimes they can give you the flux. They can. I think this glue dried down too quickly. Put some on here. So if a man can't even take you to Applebee's, and he can't take you to Chili's, and he can't take you out for a meal. I remember Steve Harvey said, any man that cannot feed you is not going to be able to provide for you. If he can't take you out for a meal, how in the hell is he going to be able to do anything for you when you in a crisis. If you not willing to pay for the first date after you have approached me, chased me, shown interest in me. See, let me tell you something. Ladies, you don't have to ask a man out on a date for the first time. All you got to do is move like a classy lady that you are. Men feel your vibe and your energy. He can look in your face and tell if you like him. He can look in your eyes and see how your eyes are dancing and how they twinkling when you see him. He see how you smile at him. He knows that you're interested in him. And boom, bam, that's his cue to make a move. That's his cue right there to say, hey, you know what? I would like to take you out to dinner. When are you available? Can we exchange phone numbers? You all exchange phone numbers. You all talk on the phone for a couple of days. And then he said, well, when can I see you? And you say, oh, well, you can see me tomorrow. You can see me tomorrow, next week, or whatever your availability is. This motherfucker just don't want to stick. I just do not want to stick. Should have left this one on. And you say, this is my availability. This is, when I'm available. And he says, oh, okay, cool. Well, what do you like to do? That should be the next question. Or either the question before that. What kind of things do you like to do? Well, I like to eat. I always make it easy for a man. I like to eat. Well, what kind of food do you like? I like seafood. Oh, okay. What kind of seafood? I like crab. I like lobster. I like shrimp. Oh, okay. I like pasta. I like steak. I like whatever. I'm open. Right? Okay. I like breakfast food. I like brunch food. What kind of music do you like? I like house. I like gospel. I like, on and on and on and on. If he's not trying to plan a date with the things that you have said that you like to do, and when a man say to you, ladies, when you start talking to him on the phone, well, I would like to see you, maybe I can swing by. And pump your brakes. That's a man you should stop talking to. That's a man that you should stop talking to, because that's a man you're going to have issues with. That's a man who is going to think that he don't have to do nothing for you. Oh, I can go over her house. Oh, I can sit over her house. I ain't got to take her out. I ain't got to take her out on no date. I ain't got to take her out on no date. She'll let me come and sit in her house. I ain't got to take her out on no date. Take her out on a date? Take her out on a date? Why? For what? Her house is the date spot. I'll take some food over there, but I ain't got to take her out. And that was one of the things that I had even said to my friend. I said, okay, I know we this or that or the third with each other. I said, but, you know, I want to go out sometimes. And that's what always made me feel like, you know, I was like he was ashamed to be with me. I'm not ashamed to be with you. Well, why you don't ever want to take me nowhere? Why you don't ever want to go nowhere? You was taking me out. What happened? What changed? So how you start out allowing a man to treat you is what he will continue to do. If you are a man who is in a position where you don't have money to date, stop trying to date. Wait till you're in position to date. If you want a low budget, low vibration, low self-esteem, no self-worth type of a girl, then go to that girl who don't require you to do anything. But stop trying to date women who have requirements. When you go for a job and you see what the job description says and the requirements for the job, you know you're not qualified for that job. So why would you apply for a job that you're not qualified for? And then get the job and then get fired because you weren't qualified to begin with. So if you broke and you cheap, stop trying to fuck quality women. Stick with the low vibration type of women like yourself. And then don't get mad, Paul, when somebody says something to you that you don't like. And then Paul comes back talking about the divorce rate. Why is there so many people divorced? Because they married niggas like you. Because it's niggas like you that are trying to lead and don't know how to lead. That's why the divorce rate is so high, because you men don't know how to be fucking men. And that's what I should have said to him last night. The divorce rate is high because of y'all. You dated her and you didn't do shit for her. And then you married her and you want to shit of a husband. I'm not saying you men don't get with women that are not a trip and that are not difficult and this, that, other. I'm not saying that. It's a lot of men. I have sat in restaurants. I was at the vet and the wife was difficult. But some of you men, some of y'all like to be controlled by women. Some of you all like women to tell you what to do and tell you how to jump. You jump. Some of y'all like that because you have low self-esteem and because you yourself is insecure. So you move like that. You always need somebody to validate you. You always need somebody to take care of you. You always need somebody to tell you that you're good enough, because you haven't got that on your own. Why would you want to be with a woman who's controlling? Why would you want to be with a woman who tell you what you gonna eat and what you not gonna eat? I know a woman right now. She's a Cook County sheriff here in Chicago. Been a Cook County parole officer or whatever you want to call it for years. Make good money. She's been with the same dude for the last 20 some years who has never worked. Who has never worked. She has taken care of everything concerning him. And he's a fucking dog. He cheats. While she's at work, he's fucking other random women who ain't about shit. And she catches him. She catches him. And she get mad. And she threatens him. And she say, and she says to him, you know, where he going is what I want to know. Oh, I wonder where he going. Maybe he riding to the site. She threatens him and she says stuff like this to him. She says stuff to him like this. You know, I supported you. I helped you. I did this. I did that. And you cheat on me. And you do this. And you do that. But there's a lot of women. They like to. They like to be in control of a man. You know, they don't want a man to be a man. They want a man to have to depend on them. They want a man to have to need them. I'm not that woman. I don't want you depending on me for shit. I don't want you depending on me for shit. I don't want you coming to me talking about, you know, do you got $5? No. And if you a man and you asking me for money, I'm done with you. I don't give a fuck about your situation. I don't give a fuck about what you going through. I'm not giving you money. Go to your homie. Go to your mama, your daddy, your sister, your brother. Go to the flea, the cat, the roach, the dog, the cat. Don't come to me and ask me for shit. Because when you ask me for money, I'm done. I don't care if it's $5. I'm done. Because 5 turn into 10, and 10 is 20, and then it's 40, and then it's 50, then it's 100, then it's 500, and then it's 1,000. And then it just keep going on and on and on and on and on and on. Like dude in here. One day I was going out to the little truck, and he was like, Cece, buy me a taco. And you like me? You like me, but you asking me to buy you a taco? I said, I'm not buying you no taco. He was like, you ain't gonna buy me a taco? Hell no. Fuck I look like. But because he good looking and he fine, he used to women doing for him. I'm not that woman. He said, man, you can't even buy me a taco. No, I cannot. I ain't buying you shit. What have you bought me? What have you did for me? You like me. I've let you know that I like you. And you still stalling, you still dragging your motherfucking feet, and I'm gonna buy you a taco? Not in this lifetime. He left his bag yesterday in one of them trucks. He does have my number. He called me and says, Cece, can you go back? Because they call me Cece here at work too. Cece, can you go back and can you do me a favor and go to this, the truck number is this, blah, blah, blah. I left a bag in there and I'm gonna need that bag. I had already walked out here to the car. I said, I hadn't left. I'm in my car. He was like, please. He was like, and then I said, well, I'll ask so-and-so to get it. He was like, I don't want them in my business like that. I don't want them in my business like that. I just need to know, can you get it for me, please? So I did it. I went back in, walked back down the hall. He said the truck is open. He said it's on the back seat. I went back. I got the bag for him. It's in the back seat of my car. When I go in there, I'm gonna take him his bag. But motherfucker, I ain't buying you shit. I ain't buying you no taco. I ain't buying you nothing. I didn't always used to be this way. But when you get burned over and over and over again and over again from motherfuckers, it teaches you to be this way. It teaches you to take care of yourself and to stop giving and giving and giving, because people don't appreciate it. So I don't do that stupid shit no more. I'm not buying you nothing. Don't ask me for nothing. It's not happening. People say, oh, you got to compromise. I don't have to do anything. I'm not into doing for you first. I'm not. Now, there's some women who like to do for men first, right off the rip. They like to buy men little trinkets and little stuff like that. When me and my friend was together, I did a lot of little niceties for him. Okay? And I did that for him, and I felt like I did a little bit too much. So, and it wasn't even like I bought him nothing, but I would always think about him. If I was going to get me and Christopher something to eat, I would say, hey, and I knew he was coming, hey, I'm going to get me and Chris a bite to eat. You want something? I knew he was coming. Yeah, what you getting? Sometimes he paid me back. He would sell me the money. Sometimes he didn't. But the fact that I thought about you, but you know what? I can't tell you how many times he texted or called me and asked me, did I need anything? He never asked me. He would walk through my door time and time again to come and lay with me and not give me, will walk in my door with no flowers, will walk in my door with no candy, coming there, walking there with nothing, time and time again. I can't tell you how many times I said to him, how much I love roses. Ask me how many times he brought some flowers in that bitch. Ask me. Never. You can buy flowers at a grocery store. I'm just saying. Anyway, y'all, I'm going to let you go. Have a great day. We'll talk more later. I'll come on live later this evening and we'll chat, okay? And I do have this new feature on my phone, on my videos, that you have to, it's a disclaimer. Man, I brought that, but I ain't bring the, that ain't gonna do me no good. That you have to, now when you look at a video and and you leave a comment, you have to agree to the guidelines before you comment. And I put that on there to stop all of this cyberbullying and for you to know that you cannot get on my platform and say anything to me. So that's the way we're going to be moving from now on. So I will see you all later. I was going to say tomorrow, but I'll see you all later when I come on live. Okay? All right. Talk to you all later. Have a great and blessed day. Peace.